Hi everyone, I'm RC Gomes.
And I'm Aiden Giordano.
We are from WIS, an accounting firm where tax season brings intense volume and tight deadlines. We receive data from our clients by December 31st, leaving a very small window to process it at scale. Today, we will show how we automated the 1099 processing using AI guided agentic execution. Traditionally, 1099 processing requires coordination between internal teams and clients. It starts with reviewing client books, cleaning and converting raw data into tax filing ready format, followed by manual data cleanup, W9 validation, vendor classification, and form determination, all under tight filing deadlines.
And this slide shows how we change that. We take a manual fragmented 1099 process and turn it into a streamlined workflow where AI handles the heavy preparation work up front. Our teams still review, edit, approve, and oversee filing, so we are enhancing expertise, not replacing. That means less manual effort, higher accuracy, and a process that scales through the busy 3-week 1099 season.
And the workflow improvement is what drives the ROI you see here. By automating the most repetitive part of 1099 preparation and keeping reviewers focused on oversights and exceptions, we significantly reduce manual effort. Last season, SPFX and Power Automate alone saved 1200 hours, and with the addition of agentic automation that grows to nearly 4200 hours, this is the kind of scale we need during the 1099 season. To make that ROI possible, we built a solution on a layered architecture. SPFX Form Customizers, Power Automate, Azure Functions, and Office Scripts handle orchestration. Our AI layer uses agent-based chatbot with Azure OpenAI for classification and W9 extraction. From there, we integrate with the Tax 1099 API for draft and final 1099s, store final documents in iChannel, and manage deployment through CI/CD. And now Aiden will walk you through the live demo.
Thanks, RC. So let's begin with the first test scenario. We'll start in the 1099 portal agent by saying something like start vendor sheet. And now it's going to ask for the vendor mapping file. Here's the vendor mapping file we'll be using. For this demo, it has been filled in with dummy mock data for security and compliance. So now I'll upload the vendor mapping file. Then the agent prompts us to provide a QBO exported general ledger. And here's the QBO exported general ledger. The agent will intelligently extract the client ID. For the sake of this demo, it will only have these rows to speed up the process, but in production, it would use thousands of rows. And now we will simply provide that general ledger to the agent. The agent will begin processing this document. We can see that the agent has responded, and it has given a summary of its work, and it also provided a link to the completed vendor sheet. And here's the vendor summary sheet. So now back in the agent, it asks us if we want to continue creating the 1099 requests. So I'll say yes. The agent responded, creating requests for the client ID, which it extracted from the GL. And now it prompts us to fill in the 1099 request details and then click create request. Upon submitting the request, a Power Automate flow continues the process in the background. Here, both links are provided. After opening the link, we can see a fully pre-filled in draft, and the vendor details are associated here. And since these vendors already existed in our verified vendors dataset, the status shows found. And below, we have full auditability and traceability with our activity log. Now let's look at a second scenario where the client has a new vendor that is missing TIN information. And that will begin the process once again, asking us for our vendor mapping file. Then it will ask us to provide the QBO exported general ledger. Now it will begin the same processing as the original scenario. Once processing is complete, we can see the agent responded, once again with the client ID, telling us the vendor count found, and it outlines that one vendor is missing its TIN. And in this case, it will ask us if we want to email the client requesting the W9 and the TIN details. So we will say yes. Then the agent responds, asking us for the client email address, and it will send the email to the client requesting the missing details for Westbrook Consulting LLC. And here I will provide our emails. And here we can see the emails sent to the client on my behalf. With that, I will hand it over to RC.
For this demo, I am playing the role of a requester. A user can click on Submit New Request. This is an SPFX form customizer. We have the feature to allow the user to pre-fill from the prior year completed request. They select the request and then they can click on Apply Pre-fill. Data has pre-filled from prior year. Fast forward where the client has responded with the W9. I have manually populated the TIN. So I selected the summary sheet and I click on Import Vendors. So the request has been created as draft. The TIN is not found in a vendor database. It prompts me to upload the W9. I click on Upload W9. I selected the W9. I click on extract W9. This calls the Azure OpenAI extraction model. This shows the preview of the PDF on the left side and the forms filled in. After this process, we have the step of generating the import templates. These import templates are used by the Tax 1099 API for the further processing of generating the draft and the final 1099. We use Office scripts to generate the import templates. I can view the import templates by clicking on this button. Once the request is prepared, the advisory team clicks on submit to prepare button. For this part, I will be playing the role of a tax admin. The tax admin receives an email which looks like this. Clicking the link opens this request. The tax admin clicks on assign to the request. They can assign it to one of the team members. For this demo, I will assign the request to myself and I would be playing the role of a preparer. My role as a preparer is to upload the draft file to this 1099 folder. The integration with the Tax 1099 API has generated this draft 1099 files. This is the sample of the draft file. Now I click submit for review. So AI has done an initial review. It says there is a mismatch with the 10 type. With this, I hand it over to Aiden to demonstrate the reviewer part.
Reviewer will receive this email where they can directly open the request in the portal. Now, once the request is opened, I can review all the details along with the activity log and give it my final approval. Now that the request has been approved for filing and the 1099 files have been automatically generated via the Tax 1099 API, in the 1099 folder, I can click Final and open the 1099. And here I can see the 1099s are correctly filled in, and I can mark this request as ready to file. Now, when acting as a reviewer, I can see the request has been moved to ready to file, and now I can just click Filing Complete. The request status has been updated to filed, and the 1099s have been sent to the IRS. Once we receive confirmation, we can move the status to completed. The request status has been updated to completed, and the original requester from the advisory team has been notified. This completes the walkthrough of the SPFX demo, and now I'll show some of our configuration. All of the details of our SPFX form can be managed and updated by an admin in our config list. All of the email templates can also be configured. Here's the build pipeline used in Azure DevOps, and here's the release pipeline. Here's our Power Automate solution. And that is our 1099 portal in action.
A governed, scalable process that keeps human in control while AI does the heavy lifting. Thank you for watching.